So what do you do when you have scratchy, crackly sound when you move your knobs and sliders on your synthesizers, your guitar, your mixers, your amps? There are several ways to fix it. One's really safe, one's a little bit more dangerous, and then one is you're on your own, buddy. And the first one is to just move the knobs, exercise them. But you have to go through the whole range of the knob. So if I was going to exercise this knob, I would go all the way to the left and then wiggle a little bit in that range and then move forward a little bit, wiggle in that range, move forward a little bit, and make sure you do that all the way to the end. You want to do full sweeps, little sweeps, lots of back and forths, and then just do that to every knob. And on a synth with a lot of knobs, it could take a little while. But do it. Just go, and if it's a knob that's in the audio path, you can actually hear the scratchiness slowly going away. Well, what's going on? Well, in a knob or slider, you have a plastic conductive material, and as you're sliding a wiper across that, you're creating more or less resistance that lets it send the value that means what it means when it is where it is. So the problem is as you leave these knobs alone for a while, they sit in the same place and there's some buildup and you get a little bit of oxidation. You get dirt, especially in sliders because they're open air and so dirt can get in them. Hopefully not, but you might get a little liquid into those and that's bad too. And some sliders, when they just get really old, you might notice when you first move them, they almost don't even want to move it and they kind of click and then they start moving. So what do? Again, you do this with the knobs and then you do the same thing with the sliders where you're just going back and forth in every range. And if it's a slider you can hear, then turn the amp up a little bit and listen. You'll actually hear when you're fixing each of the different areas. And for synths that you really care about, like if I had one of these synths in storage where this one just kind of sits here, every month I come out and I actually go and exercise every knob and slider on my gear just to make sure that it doesn't get that weird scratchy buildup. So that's the first way. And it's super safe. You cannot harm anything. And don't forget that your pitch wheel and mod wheel are also sliders. Your expression pedal is also a potentiometer. So make sure you just do all of those. The next one is you get a fader cleaner and fader lubricant. And so now here's the first caveat. Do not use something that says improves electronic connections or a contact cleaner. It will clean your potentiometer, but unfortunately, it ruins the lubrication of the slider and the slider gets very gritty and you won't like that. Here's another one. This is Deoxit Gold G5. This is just for gold connections. So like if you see gold pins on something, great for that, not great for your sliders. What you want is this Deoxit Fader F5 or its equivalent. And what you do is you just spray it right into the slider. And now the key thing though is turn the instrument off. And after you're done, let it sit for a little while, a couple of minutes before you power it back on. Now, this is relatively new, so it doesn't need much. So I'm just going to do it for show. But I just spray a little in, make sure work it. I can already feel the fader getting a little looser. And I'd normally spend a little more time than that, but it'll give you an idea of what you do. Now, about the knobs, if you cannot fix a knob by going back and forth in every range, then maybe you need to get some of this spray inside of that pot. Here's the tricky part. How do you get there? Well, if you know what you're doing, you can open the keyboard up, and now it depends on whether the potentiometer or pot or variable resistor is a sealed type or not sealed type. If it's not sealed, you're going to just see holes in various parts of this round canister, and you can just spray a little of that in, do the same trick, work it in every place. If it's sealed, you're best just going and doing this trick, or you might have to replace the pot. Then, after you've done all that, if you want to go one further step, this is fader lubricant. This is the F100L, also by Deoxit. And you just put a couple of drops in each thing, and it's assuming that your fader is now already clean, and this just adds a lubrication on top of that clean. But doing all this to your guitars, your keyboards, your mixers, your amps will keep all of them from having those scratchy, annoying sounds, and you will just be a happier musician. If you have any further questions about the Deoxit line of cleaners, please contact your Sweetwater sales engineer. My name is Daniel Fisher. Thank you very much for watching.